What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today I am joined by the one, the only OhMGee. What's going on, man?
How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I don't know. I just want to know how the McMinions are doing.
The McMinions are doing great. I assume they're doing great. McMinions, let us know in the chat, how are you guys doing?
I don't know if I want to be called a McMinion.
Yeah, it's very hit or miss with people. People are like, I don't want to be called a McMinion. Other people are like, I'm a McMinion and proud of it. So I don't know. It's very polarizing.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about Namor because we've got the reveal of She-Hulk coming up here soon, and she is going to be going in with your Fantastic Four, and honestly, she looks like a better fit for Fantastic Four than Namor does currently. Would you agree with that statement?
We don't have all the details. I believe there's two pieces of key information that I would need to know how I feel about She-Hulk. One would be her speed, and then also on her passive, she has a percent of health heal every turn, and that number is vital for me to make a decision on her importance.
Yeah, we were talking about this beforehand. I mean, the stuff that's here in the kit, the stun, the turn one stun, the applying taunt, the war defense stuff, it all looks crazy. But it all comes down to what are her stats? Like, if she's a very slow character, it's gonna be kind of up in the air, but on paper she looks like she's gonna be great. But we'll have to see how things go.
We'll have to see. And just to wrap up She-Hulk, like if you passed up Zemo and if you passed up Taskmaster and you have no regrets, I'm pretty sure you can pass up She-Hulk and have no regrets.
Yeah.
She looks like on paper that she's gonna have the same level of importance of Zemo and or Taskmaster, and that being is that they're highly vital in war and they are very playable in PvP, and it looks like She-Hulk is going to be in that same category.
Yeah, for sure. So we are talking today about what to do with this guy if you were going for She-Hulk. Now, we were talking about this before also. Right now, like, his ultimate is still like one of the better abilities in the game, like with war offense. You know, always critting. If you have the T4 upgrade on this clears all positive effects from every target on the enemy team, reduces speed bar by 50%, and it's unavoidable and can't be countered. Like, that is an insane ultimate ability. It's a turn one ability too.
Yes, this is a strange move, in my opinion, the introduction to She-Hulk, because out of all characters in the game, literally Namor is dumpster fire outside of war offense. Like, he's
so bad.
He's so bad. But you know, with this, literally he can do this ability, clear all the positive effects, return turn meter, and die, and he's done his job. On war offense on a many different teams. He's gonna have offense up. This middle ability, literally, he just needs to do this, and it'll probably put you ahead enough to win the match. And then we've got some ideas of what that's going to happen. This just one ability is worth it right now. So, like, I think he's going to be a flex character, and there's a couple of very logical teams that he can go on.
Yeah, and that's it's gonna be crazy to see what people end up doing with him, because I mean, like, the piercing, this whole thing where he gains the damaged armor, but then, like, all these bonuses are just for war. And this is the problem with him, is that if you don't use them in war, you don't get these bonuses, you don't get the offense up, the deflect, and then all this does is deal AoE damage to the enemy team. It doesn't clear any effects, reduces speed bar, it does nothing outside of war.
Can't be countered, unavoidable, and it's turn meter removal and clears positive effects. It's the best.
It's the best in war.
It's the best. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, things have crept up to him over time, but still, that ultimate is just nuts. But let's talk about what to do with him if you're going to be using She-Hulk with Fantastic Four, and you're feeling pretty good about She-Hulk and Fantastic Four on defense. But what does this mean for Namor on offense? I mean, kind of makes him homeless to a point.
Well, kind of not really. I mean, I think the most logical choice that most people have already suggested is with Baron Zemo on his team, because right now it's basically a four-man team, and we're trying to figure out who to slot the fifth. And there's a lot of really cool things that go on with that team. First of all, it's really fast, very fast team. And if you know, I think one of the matchups that most people are wanting some consistency against is against Mercs and Taskmaster. And just in being able to clear all of the deflects, the potential defense ups, and any other positive effects, and knock down the turn meter long enough to get to the high value targets once you get stuck behind the Merc Riot Guard taunt. This seems like literally Namor could do his ultimate and die right after it, and it's fine. And I think Zemo and friends will clean up just fine.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the big things with Mercs is with war defense. I'll pull up Taskmaster here. The big problem with Mercs on war defense is Taskmaster gives them all that bonus speed bar, and you're pretty much behind the entire rest of the match because they all move first, they apply blind, they do all that stuff,
and Namor's not going to care if he's blinded.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Unavoidable.
He could be blinded and he's still going to go off, and that is the point. It's like you know, where you run into where the RNG falls into some of these masks like Mercs. I'll tell you, like when I take Brotherhood 2.0 up against Taskmaster, and if my pyro gets blinded, I lose.
Yeah.
You know, there's just some bad situations like, oh, if I try to use Supernatural and my Doctor Strange is blinded and he can't flip everything, you lose. And so it's Namor is a solution to that because, you know, and you don't know if they put the T4 on Taskmaster's ultimate or not. And if that's the case, you know, if you don't know, then there's an extra blind out there that it just makes it very hard to be predictable. And I think Namor is going to be great against that particular matchup and more. I mean, I think there's 3 teams that everybody's looking at right now as far as beating on defense and war: Emma, Mercs, and Black Order. And putting Namor with Zemo might fill some slots there for sure.
Yeah, how do you feel about Namor against marauders? You like his chances for that?
I would have to think about how that plays out. I mean, that could be working. Most of Zemo, I mean, clearly he's going to add value to the team because he's going to clear all the positive effects. And typically turn 1 Emma puts up immunity. The whole team has immunity, and there's positive effects everywhere. If you could clear them and knock them down a turn long enough before the Mr. Sinister Sun, I would have to see how the turn order plays out on that, though. Like, where does he fall in that? There's not a lot. I mean, I'm not sure that Zemo and the other 3, you know, because the other 3 are pretty weak.
Right.
I mean, I know they got a boost, but come on. Grenadier, Red Skull, and Winter Soldier, even with the boost, are still not really doing much.
Red Skull.
Yeah, Crossbones rather. Yeah, Crossbones not really doing anything. I mean, they're okay, but and the value really with Zemo is that he just absolutely destroys, absolutely obliterates minions, and you know, and that's where I think the value is on the Merc defense. I would have to try it. I also believe that we have other cute counters to Emma Marauders right now. The flavor of this week is power armor without Iron Man and throwing in Ultron.
Yep.
I've punched up 100K before. It works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, it's the power with Ultron. That was Valley Flying who did that first, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I've done it, and it worked. I had actually 100 and you know, some of it's dependent on who Mr. Sinister clones. I mean, you can get into trouble if Mr. Sinister clones a Falcon or Ultron, but I have video footage of 160K punch up.
Nice.
You know, it's just like, wow, you know, and a lot of that's dependent on how beefy the Strife is, but what I'm trying to say is we have a reasonable solution to power armor. I know a lot of people against Mercs, people are punching sideways with X-Men, but if we have another choice, and that's Zemo with Namor, that'd be fantastic.
Yep. So what other teams do you suggest throwing Namor in? Because, I mean, most people don't have Zemo right now. I mean,
I have no idea, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Me too. I've got no idea.
I mean, I suppose you could throw him on an AIM team, you know, because a lot of people. So it's kind of like, where would you use Ultron, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we were using Ultron. We were throwing Ultron in with Fantastic Four. We were throwing Ultron in with AIM. So would he add value to AIM? Well, I think he's going to add value to anything. You know, if you could take out your AIM researcher or monstrosity and put in Namor on an AIM team, fine. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm not really even using AIM anymore. I mean, the only time I use AIM when I have the right power level against an Asgardians and Ultron. But I'm really reluctant to use my Ultron on anything other than Emma Marauders right now. The other thing that might be of interest is putting Namor on something like what about like Inhumans? Take out Quake and put him in place of
Ooh,
Quake.
yeah.
Or take him out, or take Karnak out of that and put Namor there. I mean, if you have a very weak Namor, a very weak Karnak, and a lot of people do because nobody really liked Karnak, right?
Yeah.
If you have a weak Karnak, why not put Namor there? If you have because a lot of people on that event that happened, I'm not sure how long ago, but a lot of people did get a 5 red Namor because that was offered in the event. And so there's a lot of 5 red Namors out there. People are probably excited to use him. People probably put the T4 into the ultimate. And you know, if that adds, you know, if you can take out Karnak, where you're, you know, the matchup you're going up against doesn't have an annoying tank, and you have like a very weak Karnak, you can put in Namor there, and that'd be just fine. What do you think?
Yeah, and that works with Inhumans. Now, I want to go back to this one real quick, because you mentioned how you have problems if your Pyro gets blinded, then you can't really do anything. But if you get Namor who gets blinded, you don't have to worry about it so much. So I'm curious, what do you think about that? Brotherhood 2.0, but with Namor instead of Pyro.
I feel like every member on that team is vital, though, to make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, Toad Blob have to be there, Magneto Jugs have to be there, and the beauty of Pyro is that he's stripping all the positive effects and hitting the whole team. And I that would be a tough sell, man, to take out Pyro and put it Namor. I just don't see myself doing that.
Yeah, it's just a thought. I just want to see what you thought about that one. Because, I mean, the nice thing is, if Namor gets blinded, you don't have to worry about his ult missing.
Right.
So, I mean, you could technically replace Pyro like that. But
the main thing the other thing that Pyro's adding is the heal block, the passive heal block ability. That's a tough sell, man. I mean, we're talking about teams that, you know, Quake really doesn't add it. Quake and Karnak don't really add anything to the core Inhuman team. You know, Monstrosity and Researcher don't really, they do some things, but they don't really add anything to the AIM team. You know, teams that you are subbing in Ultron. Now, I don't know if you could go as far as to say like Power Armor, taking out Iron Man and putting Namor in there instead, and then you're saving Iron Man for defense with Avengers. Maybe that's an option. And then if you want to put your Ultron somewhere else, but you still want to use your Power Armor, maybe against a significant punch down, you just throw Namor in place of Iron Man. Even that's a stretch, but it's a possibility.
Yeah. I'm curious
about
about
symbiotes. We're still waiting for symbiotes to have the other two. You know, a lot of people are using like symbiotes. They're running the 3 symbiotes with like Drax and Psylocke, and Psylocke is there just to clear the negative effects. What if it's what if Namor just sneaks in there and he's just giving them extra turn meter removal so for them to ramp up, because you know they're definitely a momentum team. And and Namor might at the right time clear all the stealth from the Asgardians, let's say, and get rid of all the buffs and kill a couple Gregs and give the turn meter to the symbiotes. I could see Namor being in a bunch of places on incomplete teams. I mean, are people using Avengers on offense? Could you use Namor as the 5th Avenger? I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see what people end up doing with Namor, because you always know, like, now that people are gonna use him on defense, there's gonna be people who are gonna do experimentation with Namor and see just what this guy's gonna do. Yeah, but
I see Karnak. Karnak would be a good choice for you right there. I mean, just like who you could replace, right?
Yeah. Just swap out Karnak, bring in Namor.
Yeah.
So I mean, my Quake is much weaker than my Karnak. Quake's like the weakest person on my Inhuman squad.
Oh, I can see Quake adds very little. She does a little bit of stuff, but really, like when I'm standing there, it's like, what is Quake doing? Like at least Karnak is doing something against a tank.
Yeah, I don't even have this where she's even buffing Inhuman allies.
Yeah, it's like, boy, I bet you Karnak would add more value to that setup than Quake would.
Yeah, it's not. She pretty much dies. Like she's there just to die. I mean,
she puts out the slows, and there's a lot of synergy there with all the slows and Crystal and things like that. But still, I don't know.
Yeah. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for us. Let us know down below, what do you guys think about Namor? What are your plans with Namor? Let us know down below. But before we go, wow, I almost said my name. Mobile Gamer, say goodbye to the gentle McMinions.
McGamer.
Yeah, McGamer. McGamer. We'll call you McGamer. How about that?
McGamer. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming by with this and talk about Namor. But if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.